We're going to start with the Youth Award. And so I would like to just tell you a little bit about how this award is picked and how the young person gets selected. One of the things that we do is we started working with District 150, and we asked every principal at District 150 to nominate the African American student that embodied everything they would like their school to represent. Are they well-rounded? Do they have good academics? Do they give back into the community? We didn't want just one. And so the winner tonight, he's an interesting story. His story just gets better. He's actually adopted. He said I could mention that. And what makes that so special is I'm a foster mom. So any of you who have been foster parents, you know that there are children who make you wonder why you do it, and then children who remind you why you do it. Courtney Spinks is just one of those types of students and one of those types of children. His mom and his counselors and his teachers, last minute calls when they found out about Courtney, wanting to come to the event because they said Courtney is a young man who just, if he sees a need, he tries to meet it. Courtney, he's a senior at Peoria High School. He is on student council, cross country. He's on track, and he volunteers in the counseling center during his off time just to see if there's anything that they need. And then, I don't know if you saw him on the news, but he's also an ROTC, and he has taken a program while he was in school to earn his CNA because his goal is to be a surgeon. When you see Courtney smile, and when you hear from his family the type of person he is, I don't know about you, but if I was going to have a surgeon operating on me, I would want it to be one with the heart and the kindness of Courtney Spinks. So would the future Dr. Courtney Spinks please come up and get your award? He wrote him a speech, he said. Go right
Hello,
ahead.
everyone. Okay. Okay. Hello. I would like to thank the city of Peoria, my family, and my friends for supporting me, who supported me on everything I do. I plan on contributing to the community and being a leader to the community as I plan on furthering my career and into the years. I learned so much in this city, but I plan on going further in my career in pre-med in Atlanta to help others more. I greatly appreciate you all for coming out tonight and my induction on getting nominated to the Hall of Fame, and I thank you all.
See what I said about the smile? All right. Our next inductee has already been mentioned by Doug. His name is Richard Mark. Richard is the Senior Vice President for Ameren, Missouri Customer Operations. He is responsible for electric and gas distribution to over 1.2 million customers across the central and eastern Missouri area. He also oversees customer operations, community relations, and corporate giving. Oops. He serves on a variety of boards and organizations, including Enterprise Bank, Madison Mutual Insurance, Major K-Squad, Police Foundation, and the United Way Charmaine Chapman Society. And I have a quote that which Richard doesn't know I have, but the Charmaine Chapman Society is the largest organization of African American givers to a United Way program anywhere in the country. And he is the chairman of it. And the chairman of the United Way said that at a time when we were going through a recession, because of Richard Mark, giving increased. Richard Mark has a personal touch. Nothing is too big and nothing is too small. People follow Richard because of his example and because he'll do what he asks others to do. He has received the St. Louis Business Journal's 10 Years of Influence, the NAACP St. Louis Award, the Civic Leadership Award from the City of St. Louis, the NAACP Freedom Award for the St. Louis chapter, and the Distinguished Community Service Award from the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. State Celebration Commission. I think destiny named you Mark because you have surely made a mark on this world. Thank you, Richard, and please come up and accept your award.
Thank you, Erica, for those kind remarks. Just like to say, it's truly an honor to be here and to receive this award, and I just want to thank the Board of Directors of the African American Hall of Fame Museum for this honor. It's quite humbling, and it's quite a privilege. As I listened to Erica with her introduction, she mentioned a lot about St. Louis and Missouri, and since we're in Peoria, Illinois, I want you all to know that I'm a proud, lifelong resident of Illinois. I still live in Illinois. I live in Collinsville. Lived there all my life. My mother was born there. My grandmother was born there, so it's home for me, and so I'm glad to be here. And this is quite an honor and privilege. You know, I've been very fortunate to work for a company, Ameren, that encourages community, and Doug talked about getting involved, and Ameren encourages all of our employees to get involved. They're committed to diversity. They're committed to serving the communities that we live in and that we work in. And I want to also give a special thanks tonight to all of my Ameren co-workers that are here tonight to help me share in this very humbling and honorable award. And I'd like all of you just to raise your hands and show Ameren employees, thank you for being here with me. Thank you. And thank you very much.
The next inductee for the evening is my pastor, actually, but I had to abstain from the votes. So he was nominated, and this award is really a special award. It's given to a non-African American who has had a tremendous impact on the African American community. I told Pastor King last week, if people had heard him preach last Sunday, they might have thought he was black and we would have had to take the award back. But seriously. Pastor King, he came to Peoria and he had a vision of what could they do to be an urban church and really make a difference. So he heard about the Dream Center and he flew out to LA to learn about the Dream Center and what programs they offered and how could it really impact a community. And from that, he came back with the vision, and the Dream Center was founded in the Peoria area in 2004. They bought the YMCA building in 2005, and since it has been up and running, they've given out over 3,000 backpacks annually, as well as medical supplies, dental screenings, all of the help with registration through the District 150 schools. They help over 600 families a month by providing food and clothing and furniture and anything that a family needs through the Hope Store. They have after-school programs that are teaching art to the students. Some of the things that we still have in District 150, but we don't have it at the level that we used to have it. There's a Freedom Arts program for kids to enhance their love of the arts. And then they also go into the Taft homes every single week and have over 100 students participating in a program about life skills, study skills, and all of those different things. And it's an honor to have him as my pastor and to just know the impact that the Dream Center has had. So with that, he actually was on a cruise. We didn't know. And so Andy King, the director of the Dream Center, is here to accept on behalf of Pastor King.
Well, being as she's just said everything that I was about to say about the Dream Center, I was with Dad yesterday, and he is truly honored to receive this award. He wanted me to share with you that the passion that we have at the Dream Center at Riverside is still strong for this city, that people still live in poverty in the city. And so as there is poverty within the city, that means there will be a Dream Center that will be impacting kids' lives and young people's lives in a way that's never been done before. As I stood there talking to Dad yesterday, and we were just looking at what had been done over the last 10 years, I remember the call that I got. I actually was in Australia at the time, and Dad was in England pastoring a church. And I got the call where he said, "Andy, you need to choose whether you want to come to America or stay in England or stay in Australia." And I said, "What are you on about?" He said, "God is calling me to a place called Peoria, Illinois, and that's where I feel God's going to be making us history makers." And so back then we decided to pack up. We came to Peoria, and about 10 or 11 years ago we started Riverside in the inner city of Peoria. Now, that is not a place that you normally start churches nowadays. And yet he felt a calling to really impact people's lives right in the inner city. We knew one church was not going to do it, and so we saw this thing called the Dream Center in LA, and seeing hundreds of churches and businesses and corporations coming together under one roof to impact one city. And so back then, 10 years ago, the Dream Center was started right here in Peoria. We impact over 25,000 families right in the Peoria area every year. Impact in different ways, from backpacks and school supplies, to impacting families with just basic needs, to after-school programs. We have 50 kids at our after-school program, but a waiting list of 120. The waiting list is there because we need people to help. And so I'm coming to this community and saying, if you can help in any way in impacting young people's lives, in the vision that Dad had way back then, a number of years ago, in impacting a city, please get in touch with us. The need is still great. We live in one of the best cities in the world, but there is still need. And he just wanted me to share tonight that we're not going anywhere. We are ready to impact the city like never before. And he wanted to also say thank you for this award and the privilege of being a part of the inductees tonight. Thank you.
George Gower. George Gower is a Solution Public Sector Account Executive for Johnson Control. He has sales and account management responsibility for the Chicago Public Schools and other government agencies in the Cook County area. He's committed to the community, and he has done so much. He has been, in 2011 alone, he was recognized by the Illinois Black Chamber of Commerce for Outstanding Corporate Partner. He received the Innovation of Excellence Award for exceptional commitment to exploring and implementing new ideas at Johnson's Control. He was appointed a mentor to the New Jersey, North Carolina, and South Carolina Black Chamber of Commerce, which you probably saw through the ad show. He had so many people from all over the country sending in ads to say, we want George to know how proud we are to know him and to work with him. And then he was also selected to be a mentor to the schools. And everyone who's been here tonight is a mentor to the young people. But one of the things that I had to say is we had both of the scholarship recipients came from Peoria High. The young person came from Peoria High, and George Gowers is representing for Peoria High tonight as well. And so, young people, we expect you to be here in 10 years. George is an outstanding businessman. He gives back in the community. He mentors others to help them have an opportunity. And on top of all of that, George is cool. George, please come up and get your award.
You know, they say you can't come back home. I differ. I came back home because of all the people here. I would not be here today without my family, my parents, my brother and his wife and good friends, and Junior and Jackie Watkins. Because without all that support, there's no way I could give back. And so on behalf of my family and all my friends, I want to thank you for this opportunity because it is very humbling. Trust me. And I wish that I could do more. And hopefully, in the next 2 to 3 years, my company will be building in Peoria. We've got some things going now, and we're going to be able to employ those young people sitting back there and others because we're starting our own innovative solutions here in Peoria. Thank you.
We're going to go to Don Fights, and he probably doesn't remember when we first met. It was back when I first started at Caterpillar, and I didn't know how to be corporately smooth yet. And so we were both walking up to the coffee line, and I walked with him, and we were chatting, and I said, ladies first. And I didn't know he was Don Fights. And I found out later after we got through the line, he just was a regular person. He took the time to laugh with me. He cracked a few jokes, and we got through the line, and when he left, someone said, that was Don Fights. Wished I had been a little smoother. Joshua is going to come up and talk about why he chose Don Fights for his Diversity Award.
Thank you. And thank you, Doug, for those very kind words. Sitting there between Doug and, or sandwiched between Doug and Don, I feel like a reverse Oreo cookie right now. They can handle it. They can handle it. Dave, in keeping with your theme of an acronym, I came up with one for Don Fights, and that's CIC, a catalyst and instigator for change. That's Don Fights. He is unique in every way, and I'll tell you, I've been around a few years, and I've been involved in a lot of things with a lot of very important people. I've not met a person that affected change more than Don Fights. You have his bio, but I want to give you a few other areas about Don Fights which you need to know, because this is a great man, and I say that with all sincerity. He led CAT corporate reorganization and restructuring the company into business units that still exist today. Right, Doug? He was instrumental in providing the impetus for product and marketing innovations throughout the world. He led a study on engine capacity that set the course for CAT's position in the engine business, and you played a principal role in that, Doug Oberhelman. And he established a national model for dealing with challenges. Because when I came on the board in 1993, we had a major challenge, happened to be with the union. And I'll tell you, he set a model that other corporations around the world followed. It scares me to think how different things would be with CAT, with Peoria, and in the industrial world without the bold, risky, and ultimately successful initiatives headed by Don Feitz. He has been a leading proponent of free trade. You go to Washington, everybody knows about Don Feitz. I'm privileged to be on the board of FedEx as well. And Don, I mentioned to Fred Smith that you were getting this honor. And he said, I wish he could come back to the Business Council, Business Roundtable. He has made a difference that people remember even 15 years later. He was chairman of the Business Roundtable, chairman of the U.S.-Japan Business Council, chairman of the National Foreign Trade Council, chairman of the Equipment Manufacturers Institute, a director of the National Association of Manufacturing, a member of the Business Council, and a member of the President's Advisory Committee for Trade Policy under 3 presidents, Reagan, Bush, and Clinton. And you know about his community commitments, they're in the booklet. But he has taken the helm, and he has always been willing to make the tough decisions. To say that Don is a visionary is an understatement. To say he changed and influenced the way the world does business is incomplete. To say he is one of the most compassionate and influential and effective leaders of our time does not capture the true essence of the man. To say he directly impacted and navigated CAT's path toward becoming one of the world's greatest companies is a statement I make with personal pride. To be here to share in this, an award and a recognition by the African American Hall of Fame is a great honor, and it gives me a very special honor to present him to you as the recipient of the Joshua Smith Diversity Award, and I say that with love, respect, and appreciation to the highest degree. Don Feitz. Give me that. I thought you wanted my speech.
No.
Wow, I don't know how you follow an introduction like that and all these great speakers we've had tonight. Everyone's been talking about their wives. You know, maybe the greatest contribution that Sylvia and I made to Caterpillar was to introduce Doug and Diane and suggest maybe they ought to get married, which they did. Well, you know, this is really a great honor for me, and Josh, thank you for that very kind introduction. I have a couple of comments I'd like to make about different cultures and different races. I was really blessed in working for Caterpillar that virtually the first 25 years of my career was outside the U.S. And during that 25 years, I had an opportunity to live 5 years in Africa. I lived almost 5 years in Japan. I lived several years in Brazil, lived at least 2 countries in Europe, and I had the opportunity to actually view and live with and observe different cultures and different races. And I saw the beautiful part of that, and I saw some of the ugly part of it also. I think we're all sort of a product of our environment. That was the environment that I had an opportunity to grow up in for over 20 years, my first 20 years with Caterpillar. So when I had the opportunity to come back here in the early 80s and spend the rest of my career at Caterpillar and then eventually be offered the position to become chairman and CEO of Caterpillar, I had observed a lot of these actions around the world. And I'll never forget the first meeting I had with all of my group officers from around the world. There were about 25 of us then, and we're officers of the company. I said, look around the room, boys, and they were all boys. I said, there's not a single person of color or a single woman in this room. And we have over 60,000 employees. Don't you think that perhaps there's at least 1 or 2 out there that have probably has earned the way to be sitting in this room with the rest of us? I said, I think this has to change. I'm proud to say that very shortly afterward, it had changed, and it's never been the same, quite frankly. We've always, from that moment on, had a much more diverse group of officers, not only from a standpoint of race, but a standpoint of men and women on that board. And in that group of officers. You know, I'm not sure that people deserve an honor, as I'm receiving tonight, for doing the right thing. But let me tell you, I'm very pleased to receive it. So thank you very much.
His award. You got to go get the award. You know, Don said that he doesn't think that people should get an award for doing the right thing, but there's doing the right thing, and then there's doing the right thing when it's hard, and no one else is doing it. And Eric Turner said Don Fights was the one who would do the hard thing when no one else cared. And so that's why Don is here today. So thank you again, Don. And thank you, Joshua, for selecting Don.